Very good morning, friends. So I hope you're all safe as well as healthy. Well, in this particular month, I've decided to make some videos on Index 8. In the previous video, we were talking in terms of a very basic introduction in terms of Index 8, describing what Index 8 deals with. And we identified three principal issues in terms of Index 8. One is accounting policy, one is accounting estimate, and one is the correction of errors. In this video today, I'm going to talk in terms of accounting policy. We're just going to look at the definition of what is accounting policy given in Index 8, and we'll try to understand, what exactly is an accounting policy, which we can understand in, a very easy terminology. Let's, I think, dig into deep the definition of accounting policy which is given in Index 8. अनअकैडमी पर मैं आपके साथ लेके आ रहा हूँ सीए फाइनल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग के लिए जो बच्चे नवंबर 22 और मई 23 अटेम्प्ट की तैयारी कर रहे हैं उनके लिए एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव कोर्स। इस फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग क्लासेस के अंदर मैं आपके साथ स्पेंड करूँगा लगभग ऑलमोस्ट 350 घंटे के आसपास, जिसके अंदर मैं आपके साथ कवर करने वाला हूं एकदम कंप्लीट इन डेप्थ के अंदर सारा का सारा कोर्स। हम इन इंडेक्स की इंटरप्रिटेशंस करेंगे और इंडेक्स के टेक्स्ट को इस्तेमाल करते हुए हम इसमें इंडेक्स की कवरेज करेंगे और जो क्वेश्चंस आपके साथ कवर करेंगे उसमें रिवाइज स्टडी मटेरियल, उसमें एजुकेशन मटेरियल जो इंस्टीट्यूट ने इशू किया है, रिविजनरी टेस्ट पेपर्स, पास्ट एग्जामिनेशन क्वेश्चंस और मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स, सब कुछ आपके पास इसके अंदर कवर्ड होगा। और जहां पर जरूरत पड़ेगी इसके अंदर आपके साथ कुछ एडवांस्ड लेवल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस जो इंटरनेशनल कोर्सेज में हैं वो भी आपके साथ कवर करेंगे। इट विल इंक्लूड एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम कंसेप्ट एंड टिल ऑल द प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस। ये बैच रहेगा लाइव मंडे टू सैटरडे और आप इस बैच के अंदर मॉर्निंग 6 to 8 AM में यानी अपने ऑफिस से पहले क्लासेस अटेंड कर सकते हैं। यदि कोई क्लासेस आपकी मिस होती हैं तो आप उन रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स को अनलिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स व्यू कर सकते हैं और इस बैच के अंदर सब कुछ कवर होगा, आपको कुछ भी अलग से कवर करने की जरूरत नहीं। डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में आपको लिंक मिलेगा जहां से आप इस बैच को सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं और इसके लिए आप मेरा कोड भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं CAKB10, आपको इस पर 10% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा। इस सब्जेक्ट के साथ साथ इसी सब्सक्रिप्शन में आप बाकी सब सब्जेक्ट्स भी देख पाएंगे। सीए फाइनल ग्रुप 1 के आप बाकी तीनों सब्जेक्ट्स जो हैं वो भी आप इसके अंदर देख सकते हैं। तो भाई इंतजार किस बात का है, आइए लेट्स क्रैक इट। You can see the definition of accounting policy which is given in the text of Index 8. It says accounting policies are specific principle, basis, conventions, rules and practices. So I can see 5 components which are given in the definition, that it is a specific principle, it is a base, it is a convention, rules and practices applied by the entity in preparing and presenting financial statements. Now, I think before I focus on these 5 words, let me focus on the main part of the definition which says in preparing and presenting financial statements. When I look at the definition, my focus goes more on the word preparation and presentation. Now let's understand in simple words what do you mean by preparation as well as presentation. When I say preparation, I would say if you look at any standard, for example, let's say an asset related standard, you would see that there is a recognition criteria which is given in the standard. Then, like for example, if you look at Index 16, which talks about PPE getting capitalized, now there is a definition and there is a recognition criteria. So once you evaluate the recognition criteria, you come to know, yes, it is eligible for being shown as an asset in the balance sheet. After the recognition, you go to the measurement part and you start deciding that what is the value at which the asset is to be recorded in the books of accounts. Then after that, comes the presentation aspect and the disclosure aspect. The presentation is in terms of the financial statements, the balance sheet or the income statement, and the disclosure is of course in the notes to account. So I would say principally there are a total of four things we look at when you prepare and present financial statements. So I would say as a part of the preparation, we've got recognition and measurement aspects. And as a part of the presentations, we're looking at the presentations in the balance sheet, but I'm not using the word disclosure. So I would say the word preparation and the word presentation is including the recognition part, the measurement part, and the presentation in the balance sheet and the income statement. Now, when a company is preparing and presenting financial statements, it will get a lot of places where there will be choices. Choices in terms of a recognition criteria, choices in terms of, you can say, a measurement choice, and also a presentation. I'll talk more in terms of examples where we will dig further and find out that what are the various examples of getting a recognition choices, what are the examples where we get measurement choices, and what are the examples when we're looking at presentation choices. But trust me, if you're looking at choices in recognition, measurement, and the presentation in the financial statements, that would indicate the company has to decide an accounting policy. So whenever you are facing choices in the preparation, recognition, measurement, presentation in the balance sheet, income statement, you are getting choices. You need to decide, what is the accounting policy choice. Now that is the later part of the definition. Now, when you look at accounting policy, these choices which you are facing could be like, for example, now let me also clarify one thing. It's not that every time there is a choice, it's an accounting policy. Like for example, if you're looking at a choice of a depreciation method, that doesn't make it an accounting policy. So we need to apply certain other aspects as well. So don't get into the confusion that a choice is indicative of an accounting policy. Not every choice is an accounting policy. Like a depreciation method choice is a choice in terms of accounting estimate. But every time there is a choice also doesn't mean that it has to be an accounting policy. Sometimes it can be a simple specific principle without giving choices. Like for example, if we say inventory is measured at cost or NRV, whichever is less, now that becomes a specific principle. Now that's not a matter of choice that you're going to measure the inventory at cost or at NRV. It has to be whichever is less. So there could be certain specific principle, like for example, inventory measurement. Basis would mean a measurement base. Like for example, in PPE, you could measure the PPE at cost. You can measure it at a revaluation model. Now that's a measurement base. Or it could be a conventions. That means which is being carried out for quite some time. You call what you did in 10+2 concepts and conventions. That is the conventions. Rules, because I would not say Indus is totally principle based. It is principle and rule based both at certain places. Like for example, if you look at Indus 115, it is a 5-step model. You have to apply step-by-step approach. That becomes more like a rule based concept. And accounting policies could also be practices. The practices means the industry practices applied by the entity. So when you're looking at accounting policies, the bouquet of accounting policy is comprising of specific principle. I give you example of inventory valuations, measurement basis, that's basis, concepts and conventions, that's convention, rules and the practices which are, you can say, industry practices applied by the entity in preparing and presentation. So when the company is preparing and presenting financial statements, you may face certain specific principles, you may face choices in terms of measurement basis, you may face different practices applied by the industry. So you get a choice in terms of pick and choose out of those industry practices, out of those measurement bases. So the company picks up that I am making my financial statements based on this. That is called an accounting policy. But we'll discuss some more insights on this, especially on the recognition, measurement, as well as on the presentation aspects in the next video. Do watch that. Thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye and take care.